Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing the patch notes for 11.6. As always, if you enjoy the content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out a ton on the channel. Come by and check out the stream. Usually starts around midnight Eastern Standard Time every night. Usually goes till about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very friendly, chill community. We'd love to have you. And then we do lots of patch notes, fresh tier lists, and other topical guides that we're constantly adding in. So be sure to check all that out. Okay, and again, if you like it, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out a ton on the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get in here. So Akali, I believe this is a pretty massive buff to Akali, so I'm not really sure why they're doing this, but it seems like they're taking away quite a lot of the skill expression out of Akali, and they're just giving her more raw power. So they are lowering her health down to 500, so this is going to make it difficult to trade early. She is getting more health per level, so she's going to break even around like level 7. And then she's going to be positive after that. Assassin's Mark. Now, this was something I think that was good skill expression for Akali, was having to, you know, walk in and out of your circle in order to get that extra energy refund. But now they've taken that away, so you don't have to, you know, do this kind of back and forth positioning in order to maximize your damage. And now with 5-point strike, this is what you max first. They're lowering it by 30 energy at max rank. So you used to have to go in and out in order to get 20 energy back at max rank of this passive, but now, and I think that was at level 16, it was either 11 or 16 was when you got the 20 back. But now at level 9, you're just getting 30 back for free off of this. So early on, it's a little bit more at like level 1, but beyond that, it's better. Now, it doesn't do extra damage to minions and monsters, so the wave clear is not going to be as good, but you can cast a lot more of them. And now, it restores 80 energy, but you can also use your W early proactively to gain 80 energy. So you go over the cap 80, so now you can actually start off the fight with your Twilight Shroud, get a ton of extra energy. So now, you know, you're saving an extra 30 per Q. You're starting off with 80. So you're getting a lot of extra Qs in these fights. Because it has a really low cooldown. So what gates it is the energy. So this is a lot more damage that you can do as Akali, I believe. Like, that's huge. That's just basically 80 free energy on the house when you're about to start a fight up. Your Shuriken Flip is doing more damage now, 70 more damage, which is quite a lot. This is what you max second. However, you have to actually follow up with the second part in order to get the large amount of damage off of it. So you have to be a little riskier to go in. So they're making her a little riskier, I suppose. But that's a lot more damage, and it has much higher scaling too. It's got an extra 15% total AD scaling. Remember, that's total AD, I believe, not bonus AD. So that's just free damage on the house, because even if you don't buy AD, you still start off with some amount of attack damage, right? And then you get an extra 20% AP. So better base stats, better scaling. All you have to do is follow up on your E's a little bit more, which, to be fair, you're not poking with this, right? You're either using the E to escape most of the time, or you are following up with it. So the scenario where this is going to be weaker is really only if you're like using it to poke a lot of times, I think.
Hey Dad, you have my Poe.
Oh, there it is. That's right. There is Poe. Can you come over here and say hi, people?
Hi people.
Oh, hold on. You want to say hi, people again?
Hi people. Hi people. Hi baby.
Oh, hi, people everywhere, huh? Oh my gosh, Rory wants the small Poe, don't you? Okay, can you go watch it over on the couch?
Yeah, I do. I want to watch it in my home.
Okay.
I think the cat has. I think that the cat.
Okay, hold on. Let me just set her up here real quick, and we'll get going. They just literally walked in. I didn't know. I thought I was gonna be able to film this before they got in. Okay. So sorry about that. But anyways, she should be good for a little bit. But anyways, yes, that's a lot of extra damage. And then this is doing all magic damage. And then the first dash is also doing a lot of extra damage. It has less Or now it has AP scaling. Yeah, they added an extra AP ratio on here. So the full combo then, she's getting an extra 20 here and an extra 30 here. Now the magic damage, you might think, okay, well that kind of sucks because this means that people can itemize just full-on magic resist and be better against you, and that's true, but that also means that like your spell penetration boots are better for people that aren't getting a ton of magic resist. You're going to do even more damage. So and there's a lot of AD floating around right now. So yeah, when they get their Mercury Treads, it will be a little bit better against your R, but it does have better scaling, and you are going to have better matchups against champions that are going to be greedy and maybe not get those Mercury Treads. So anyways, I think this is positive. At worst case scenario, it's neutral because it's giving you more damage, but it's making it magic damage, so it might get resisted more if they go for Mercs. So yeah, I think this is going to be huge. I think our win rate's going to, I mean, it's probably still not going to be positive in solo queue. She's still going to be hard to play, but I think she might be pick ban again in pro after this. Like, I highly suspect she's going to be pick ban in pro after this, and she might go up to like 48% in solo queue. Okay, Gnar, his initial damage is going down a little bit. Okay, that's fine. I think he's in an okay place in the meta overall. I know he's being played a lot in pro, but he'll probably still be around whatever he is now, like 50, 51%. Hecarim is losing some extra damage on his Q. Now, this is a big deal because he spams this a lot. So it's not really going to affect his early clear that much, I don't think. It's only 10 at rank or at level 5. But later on, he is losing 20. So it is going to hurt his wave clear, and that's going to hurt his sustained damage. So it seems like this may not be that big of a deal, but then again, you know, they've done this to him in the past where they just nerfed his Q a little bit, and he just, like, completely disappeared out of the meta. So, might have that happen again. I don't think he's that oppressive. I know he's being played some in pro, but, like, he's good. But I don't think he's like, oh my god, we gotta destroy this guy. So, anyways, I think this will probably be pretty substantial. He'll probably lose a couple percentage points. It'll probably matter more than it seems. Okay, Karthus' Lay Waste. Now, this is pretty big. This is 20 damage off of each Lay Waste. You gotta remember, he casts this like once every second. So 20 damage here, if this was on like something that had a 4-second cooldown, which is still like pretty fast, that would be 80 damage off, assuming that you're hitting all of them. So anyways, it may not seem like much, 20 damage here, but the cooldown is so low and you spam this so much that this is just gonna like really hit his damage in team fights and hit his like wave clear later. So I really don't think he's that great. I mean, he's okay, but there's so many answers to him right now. There's so much healing and shielding in the game. You've got Locket, you've got Sterix. I don't know. Like, he has no pro presence from what I understand. At least not much. In like under Diamond, he's not that powerful. I guess in like maybe Challenger he's annoying, but this feels like a pretty big hit. I mean, let me just see here real quick, because I feel like he's not that big of a deal. Okay, this is 11.6. Let's look at 11.5. Now, they were probably looking at data from 11.4 to make that determination. Okay, I guess Hecarim was almost 55%. I guess I lost track of that. So Hecarim was 55%, so I guess he did need to be nerfed last patch. And then I didn't do too much analytical stuff outside of just the initial tier list, so I guess he crept up pretty fast on that patch. Yeah, and then Karthus, I guess, is 53%. So statistically, yeah, I guess they did deserve to be nerfed. So, okay, fair enough. LeBlanc... God, this champion is so annoying. I really just... Can they just let her just stay stay in the shadows, right? We don't need her coming back into the meta. So they're lowering her mana cost so that she can have more opportunities to jump in and try to make plays. Okay, I guess. I mean, she's relatively difficult to play just because people try to be too aggressive on her and they get punished. But, okay, fine. I mean, there do need to be answers to ADCs because I feel like ADCs are very strong right now in general in the meta. And you kind of need divers and assassins to deal with that. So, That's, I don't like to see that as someone who plays support, a buff to that. But realistically, if we're trying to be fair in a meta, assassins do need to be viable to help keep things like 80 carries in check. Okay. Lilia, so her ult is 20 extra seconds at level 1 and then at all ranks. That's pretty big. I feel like she's not that great in solo queue, but she has been a terror in pro. She requires very good positioning. So this will probably be pretty substantial, I think, but she'll probably still be pretty good. I mean, the thing is, you aren't like actively, I mean, I guess you are trying to make plays with her later. I don't know. I'm not like super well versed in her. I mean, obviously 20 seconds is bad, but I'm just thinking, my initial thought was she's not the type of champ that's like immediately going to be looking for an ult off cooldown every single time. She's a little more opportunistic. So maybe it doesn't matter as much as it would on someone like a Hecarim. But maybe it does. I don't know. But okay, they're nerfing her a little bit. She'll probably still be viable in pro, but we'll see. Okay, Pyke, they're doing scaling cooldown. He usually maxes his E second anyways. This is good. And they did give him a buff last patch. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was his healing. Scales with lethality and was like better if you're in a duo lane. I believe that's what it was. So, okay, I still don't think he's going to be fantastic. I mean, a big part about Pyke is he's an AD champ, and a lot of teams are overloaded with AD right now. Just AD is being played in so many lanes that having a magic, if you want to go damage, having a magic damage threat like a Maokai, a Zyra, or a Brand, I think might be better. But, I mean, he does have a lot of good qualities to him. He's got a hook, he can engage, he can roam really well, he's got the invisibility to get around wards, he has the E to escape. It's really hard to lock him down. So, maybe this is enough to push him into viability. They have lowered the cost also on Umbral Glaive and a few other items that he likes to get as well. So, we'll see. I mean, this is nice. Being able to get off potentially multiple stuns in fights seems like it could be pretty good. Obviously, Prowler's Claw is super good on him as well, and they have buffed Prowler's Claw 3 or 4 patches ago. Because you can claw over and make sure that your E's going to hit pretty much. So, and he does have better sustain against poke, so I don't know. Maybe we'll try him out. What was his win rate last patch? He's not, like, phenomenal against tanks. Yeah, he's 49%. I don't know. He still requires a lot of gold. Like, you got to snowball with him. And a big thing, I think, that might be holding him back also is there's so much mobility that it's hard to land your ult on people when, like, every AD carry is going to have Gale Force and so many champions have a million dashes and flashes and all that kind of stuff. It's just hard to get those executes. But maybe this will help him out a little bit, maybe 1 or 2%. Okay, Renekton, his health is going down a little bit at later levels. Okay, he's still going to be really strong early. I mean, 200 health does matter late game. This is mostly for pro. I think Renekton's not too far over the line in solo queue. He does still require a snowball. I think, I mean, he has a decent amount of baseline effectiveness. I mean, he's got his stun, and when you give him all those item actives that do damage, he can be really powerful, right? When you go, like, Gore Drinker into, like, Ravenous, with the double damage actives, like, he can put out a surprising amount of damage and healing. But yeah, okay, I guess that's fine. Sylas, that's a lot of extra attack speed. 45% extra attack speed, jeez. And then the cooldown on Kingslayer, god, this ability is so toxic. The cost is also going down, so he can spam it even more. Now the healing ratio is going down by a little bit, but I'm not sure how much that's going to matter. Is Sylas really that bad? I feel like that's pretty big, right? I don't remember how often you cast those passives, or like you're able to take advantage of that passive, but something like Nashor's is probably still bad on him. But I mean, it adds up, every time he uses that passive. So I don't know. I think he'll be pretty strong. That'll certainly help out. Nerfing Urgot randomly, I almost never see this guy. Like, he's okay, but I don't know. Sure, okay, so they're nerfing the whatchamacallit build, the Kraken Slayer build even more on him. Is it like, because you never see him in pro, right? I mean, I haven't been watching a lot of other regions. Well, he does have a 55% win rate, so Okay.
He wants to
I mean, he does, so they're trying to tap him down a little bit. Volibear gets full healing off of monsters. That's actually really big. He's going to have a lot more sustain in the jungle now. And then this thing right here, like, he does 750 damage basically to camps instead of 150 early. What? Because he maxes W first, and now he can just put 1 point in his E and do a ton of damage. So that's, I mean, that's going to help his wave clear, like, his damage a lot. I think, I don't remember how much percentage health and stuff that is, but that feels like this is going to be huge to help him clear faster and stay healthier in the jungle. It feels like if he could put on Kim Tank or something, like, it feels like there has to be a build where he can go Kim Tank and come out of the jungle and be, like, really powerful. But we'll see what it is. But I think this is a big deal. This might bring him back into the meta a little bit more, especially with the nerf to Hecarim and Lilia, Karthus. Like, a lot of other junglers are getting nerfed, so that might create a good space for him. Xin Zhao, now I'll be honest, I haven't read over like all of this a ton. It's just kind of like wall of text. I don't think it's gonna matter. I would have to watch it in action. There are probably other content creators, you know, that have played this on the PvE that can tell you better than I can. But I think his general playstyle is the same. And I think that squishy melee champions that are required to build a lot of damage items are just not that great most of the time, outside of maybe Master Yi in like lower elo brackets. And Master Yi, like, a big part of that is he gets those resets with that Q, so you can't target him. So he does a lot of damage, but he basically becomes invulnerable and gets all these resets on these kills. And he just does so much damage that it just becomes crazy, right? So he's just so over the top that that can work. But that's the cat's new home. So anyways, we'll see. He does have extra range on his little stab. It's faster. Now you do get 1100 if someone has been challenged. Does that mean you... I'll have to see. Does that mean if you hit them with your W stab, I think that challenges them, and then you're able to charge in at a longer range? So maybe, I mean, that's more skill shots. Like, if you hit your E, then you can, like, dive in, or your W, you can dive in with the E further. I think that's how that works. So maybe, but I think it's just a fundamental problem of design that, like, squishy champs like that usually aren't that great unless their damage is so over the top it's ridiculous. And I just don't feel like he's there. Although maybe he is. Maybe he is. So if you can snowball early, he's notorious for being a really early game bully. So if you can snowball early and take over, I think maybe he can be strong. So I think it's good. I mean, it'll be 2 or 3 extra percentage points for him, but they're giving him like AP ratios too. They're giving him the Twitch treatment. So I mean, what does that mean? I mean, the first thing, anytime anyone gets an AP ratio that auto attacks, you got to be thinking Nashor's Tooth, right? I mean, that was the big thing for Twitch, was he just got Nashor's Tooth, and then he was kind of like, it changed his curve to where he was a lot stronger early, but then weaker late. So I don't know how this is gonna work on him. I mean, Nashor's, if you want to try that out, he does attack quickly, you know, so that he would benefit from the on hit. The ratios still aren't that good. The ult's pretty good, but like Twitch's AP ratios were just nuts on his poison and his passive. That's why that like weird build worked on him after those buffs. So I don't think you're gonna see many AP items there. It just seems kind of weird. Okay, so better, but I don't think he's going to be highly dominant. Could be wrong about that. Maybe this is a lot better than I think it is, but it definitely helps. And then Shield Bow, losing 2% lifesteal. You no longer get extra lifesteal when the shield procs, but instead you get... Oh, they changed it from attack speed to AD. When they previewed this last week, they were making it attack speed. And a bunch of Yasuo and Yone mains were complaining that they didn't really get anything off of that because attack speed's not that good on those champs. Which I'm not entirely sure that's true, but the 13 to 35 AD definitely gives it much more mass appeal. Because AD carries will still like that, but then your Yones and your Yasuos will also like that, and maybe even Assassins might like that a little bit more. I don't really know, like, trying to think who would want, like, Graves. I mean, Graves is obviously gonna love that.
I love grapes.
You love grapes? Good. Rory loves grapes. You know, he likes the lifesteal, but like this item's just getting kind of murky because I thought it was supposed to help you survive more, but now it's like giving you a lot of extra AD. Just seems kind of weird. It's scaling AD though, so I don't know exactly the gold value. I think lifesteal is like 40 gold per, so that's 600 gold value, and then AD is 35 per. So at 20 AD, you're getting more. So I don't know the exact breakpoint, but I think by the time you buy this item, you're getting more gold value out of it when it triggers. And the lifesteal can be reduced by Grievous Wounds versus the AD. You're always going to get the full benefit out of it. And it's giving you a bigger shield by 50. I feel like there's a buff. I feel like it's a pretty substantial buff on the types of champs that want this. So, okay. Blather and King losing 2% lifesteal, alright, but then it's getting a little more proc damage at really late levels. That one's going to be a bit of a nerf, I think. I don't think it'll make it unplayable, but then Steric's Gauge, after dealing damage to or taking damage from an enemy champion, the first stack heals you for some amount, a maximum health decreasing by 50% per stack. Okay, so you don't get as much passive healing in lane from that, but it still gives you the super OP shield and has great AD on it and health. Still going to be a strong item, but okay, they're making it a weaker lane item to get the Phage. Wait, that's not affecting Phage though, or is it? It says it's just the completed item. I don't know. It's champs that get Sterix. Most of them have other options as well. They can get like Ravenous Hydra or Blather King. I mean, there's a lot of other things usually they can get. So anything that nerfs that item, I'm happy because I think it's just a super toxic item. Anyways, Leandries no longer gives you 5% pen per second against burning targets. Okay. Leandries now gives you a 12% bonus magic damage to champs based on their based on their bonus health, so based on their max health. So if they have 1250 bonus health, then you get the 12%. Okay. So this is gonna be better against tanks that stack a lot of health but don't get a lot of magic resist. So if you are the only magic damage threat on your team and people aren't going to be building a lot of resist, then this is going to be better if they're just building health. A lot of the top end items do have health on it, even the magic resist items, so it's rare to see a magic resist item that doesn't have health outside of like maybe Mercury Treads. I guess Banshees. There are some, but okay. I think, yeah, like they said, this is better for burst. I think that's more, so like even at 15% pen, if someone has 100 magic resist, it's going down to 85. So if you do, so that would only give you, so if they have 100 magic resist, the 15 pen would only give you 7.5% more damage. I think it's just a more damage across the board, even against a high magic resist target. Let's say they have like 150 magic resist. Wait, is that? I guess that's right. 40, so 60%. So if you cut 15... I think it's just... I won't go too deep in the math. I'm pretty sure it's more damage almost in every scenario, unless they're just stacking, like, an insane amount of magic resist with no health. I'm pretty sure it's just more damage across the board. And it's upfront damage. Like, it doesn't require stacking. So, yeah, I think that's a really good buff. This is already a strong item, so I don't know why they're buffing that so much, but... I mean, this is almost like Deathfire Grasp. What was Deathfire used to be 15% extra damage, but it had a cooldown. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really strong, actually. But Deathfire wasn't conditional. It worked against squishies, versus this really only gets a lot of its power versus tanks. Okay, we're adding another AP Mythic to the mix. Dealing damage to an enemy champion now also reduces this cooldown by 0.5 up to 3 seconds per ability. How do you get to 3 seconds? If you hit 5 champs, it'll only be 2.5. Does it work with dots? So if you cast like Malefic Visions on somebody, I mean, would that just basically automatically give you a 3-second cooldown? Dealing damage to an enemy champion. It doesn't say hitting them with a spell. Wow. Does this mean dots are good? Ability damage. Okay, so runes don't count. But different abilities could trigger it even more. So like the dot crew, so something like Zyra or Anivia, right? Like Anivia's R. That ticks pretty fast, I think. It's like anything that does like dot type of damage. Malzahar. Yeah, I think it's really good. Okay, and then they're lowering just straight up lowering the cost on Deathcat by 200. That's really awesome. So yeah, mages are definitely getting some love here. You know, cue the Hashinishin tears. But Seeker's Arm Guard, well, they're getting buffed on their offensive items, but their defensive items are getting nerfed here, right? So Seeker's Arm Guard is losing 15 armor. That is massive. That's 300 gold worth of armor. That is a massive, massive nerf. I don't even know if you go Seekers anymore. I think you maybe just go more damage and just try to kill them. I mean, can you do that again? Zed is like Oriana or something, though? I don't know. It's definitely going to shake that up, though, because I think there'll be a lot fewer people just getting Seekers and sitting on it. Maybe it doesn't look like it's nerfing Zhonya's, though. So maybe you just can't sit on Seekers. You have to fully commit to the Zhonya's first if you want to do that, or it's just not worth it. Maybe people go Ninja Tabby and skip Seekers instead. I mean, that does kind of hurt your damage on like the sort, but I mean, that's a cheap, cost-efficient alternative. Maybe people start doing that. You know, just Oriana just gets Tabby against Zed or something of that nature. Maybe she just gets Tabby and skips Seekers and just, you know, goes for bigger ticket items instead of completing the Zhonya's. So it'll depend on a champion by champion basis, but I think just sitting on Seekers is not going to be a thing anymore, or it's not going to be a good thing. And then Verdant Barrier, less ability power and less magic resist. Same thing. I just don't think you're going to be allowed to sit on Verdant Barrier. You have to fully commit to Banshee's Veil, which I think is fine. Shurelya's. Wow, that's a big buff for Shurelya's. 15 seconds less. So immediately I'm thinking Rakan. He's the person who like almost always gets this. Then there are some other champs that like could situationally get this. And this will make it more appealing for those champs, but okay, nice. Yeah, it's a very underutilized item. They have to be careful because you don't want solo laners like going haywire with this. You've already seen stuff like Galio getting this sometimes. Maybe, I don't know if Vlad was getting it, but I know Galio was getting it for a little bit there. TF and stuff like that. So I don't know if this is going to make them want to get that over other options, but definitely good for Rakan. A better situational item for other champs. Stride Breaker, okay, losing 100 health, I love it. This item's super toxic. It's just way too good. It's burst damage, mobility, tankiness, it's just everything. So I'm glad that they're saying, you know what, you could have the damage, you can have the mobility, but you're not going to be as tanky. So I like that, knocking about 250 gold and some change off of it. Good move. Iron Spike Whip, cooldown 5 seconds longer. It is cheaper, so you can buy it faster now, but you can't clear the wave. Well, I mean, waves come in every 30 seconds, so does it really matter that it's going from 15 to 20 seconds? Are you actually casting it on your 15-second cooldown? I guess for most all-ins, you won't be able to use it twice. I think it is affected by cooldown reduction too, so maybe there were more circumstances where you would get it off twice. Like at the very end of a fight, you'd get the second trigger off or something. So maybe there are some places where it matters, but as far as like the wave clear goes,
That Sadie looks hungry now.
oh, that Sadie looks hungry. Maybe that won't happen. So in other words, I don't think it'll affect wave clear, but for like really extended all-in fights, then maybe it's better if you're gonna get 2 of them off. Okay, ability haste, getting 5 extra ability haste, and then it's going back to 72%. Okay, I think it's still like an alright item. Is this just like undoing all the nerfs? I can't remember, but that's pretty substantial. Yeah. So I mean, big tanks that are gonna like this, your Zac, like your people that aren't gonna do Kim Tank, are gonna like this. I don't think you're gonna see this again on like your Leonas and your Rels and stuff like that. It's possible, but it's still an expensive item, right? It's still gonna be 700 more gold than Locket, so the people that already get it are gonna like it, but I don't know if we're gonna see other champions come into the meta that would use it, or if champs are gonna switch their item to get this very often. There might be some, like I said, that we're getting Kim Tank that might get this instead, but okay, good call. Wait, what? Oh, okay, so the total cost is 2,700 now. Okay, so it's 5 extra gold, so or 5 extra AP, so you are losing about 70 gold value. Okay, I rushed Void Staff a decent chunk of the time on like Maokai because I think it was really underrated because it was so cheap. It was like within the support budget, and you lose tankiness for it, but you get faster damage and a little bit more damage in a lot of circumstances. So I didn't think anyone else did that though. I didn't think anyone else was rushing this item. Maybe there were some people, but most of the other people I was watching and pro players and stuff didn't do that. So I'm not really sure where they got the data to make that decision. I think it's a smart decision, but I just never saw anyone else doing that. Jungle Camps, Gromp heals you a little bit more when you kill it. Okay. And then it gives you more XP. Okay. So, nice buff. Jungler's a little bit there. Base heal on Smite is up 20. Okay. You heal a little bit more. So this will help out the champs that have a tougher time clearing. Okay, so no home guard. But you do get some extra bonus movement speed at all ranks. And then the cooldown is lower at later levels. Okay, I think that's fine. Fleet, less AP ratio. Okay, so that's a nerf to what, Kassadin? I can't remember that many other mages that would get this. Maybe some melee mages in really tough poke matchups. Other melee mages. Diana or something? I don't think she got it. I'm not really sure. I know Kassadin would get it, but I don't know otherwise. They're probably not going to shake up the meta too much. Ravenous Hunter, so now it's 0. So you have no sustain in lane from this until you get a kill or an assist. And then when you do get a kill or an assist, you're getting 7.5 total instead of whatever it was before, like 11. But, okay, I think that this rune was just way too good. Everybody was getting it for the free sustain in lane, so I like that they're knocking this down a little bit. It'll definitely hurt some champs, but overall I think it's a pretty good choice. Okay, and then I don't think the other stuff matters as much. DX11 support, okay. Skimming the bug fixes. Okay, this is actually pretty big. Fixed a bug where Mirror Mana's on-hit effects were not being applied every third attack. So there aren't that many champs that would do Mirror Mana Gensus. Kaisa has not been doing that lately. But yeah, when that does come up, that's, you know, that was a huge loss of DPS, I guess, with that bug. But anyways, okay. Well, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much. We did keep it under 40 minutes. That's good. But anyways, come by, check out the stream. Like I said, I'm going to try to start around midnight Eastern Standard Time. Love to have you. Happy to talk with you about, you know, what do you think about the patch? Was there something that I overlooked? Are there some new cool builds that you've seen other players do or that you've discovered? So come on by, hang out. It's a good time, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day.